Nick, you are a naturalist, a materialist, which means you're an atheist. I struggle with these issues of religion and science, so I respect your work greatly, but I want to know, why are you an atheist?
Because I don't believe in God. And I don't understand what evidence I could possibly rely on to change my mind about that. Nothing in my understanding of the world requires the interference of an external agent who changes the direction of life on Earth. And therefore, as Laplace said, I have no need of that hypothesis.
Well, science today is explaining many things, of course, but people who seek a potential beyond the physical would point to two areas that they believe science can never, even in principle, access, one of which is the ultimate cause of existence. Why is there something rather than nothing? Or the ultimate cause of the universe? Where did the laws of physics come from? And the other is the nature of consciousness. I know you've dealt much with the latter, but as you integrate this in terms of thinking about the need for a possible supernatural existence, be it a god or something else, how confident are you that these do not exist?
Well, you can ask me at two levels. I mean, as a scientist and as a scholar, I am completely confident. I don't find that there's anything added by the postulate of a god at the beginning of the universe or as the designer of consciousness. Either it doesn't make any difference. If God created the Big Bang, well, then that's actually not added anything to simply the statement that the Big Bang happened, because there's no other attributes which we're attributing to God, unless you want to go beyond that and say that the very God who created the universe then went on to send down his Son to live and die amongst us and to bring us into the path of the New Testament and so on. That's a very different kind of God. And I suspect that even you who tend towards some sort of theism don't want to believe in that kind of God. At the other level, just as a human being and as someone who's in awe of the universe and finds consciousness the most remarkable, mysterious, extraordinary phenomenon that exists in this universe, and baffled still about how it could have come into being. Of course, I sometimes lean towards some supernatural explanation, but then I have to pinch myself and say, come on, Nick, you don't really believe that. Stick to your guns and try and explain it in the way in which you try and explain everything else in this world, through understanding the material causes.
Some theologians, philosophers of religion who are believers, make the claim that atheism today is just as much a faith as religion, in that they make assumptions and draw inferences from the structure of the universe, and that there is an equivalent because of the presuppositions that you have, because the theologians and the philosophers of religion can look at the universe and, although it doesn't prove that God exists, is completely consistent with a God who they believe in for other, maybe personal reasons.
Well, I think it's true that atheism is a belief system in the same way that religions are belief systems. But religions bring in unsubstantiated beliefs to save the appearances, to explain things which they can't explain in other terms. Atheists, insofar as they're basing their atheism on a scientific explanation of the universe, can continually justify the beliefs which they have, because they can say, well, look, we tested this idea. We saw how it worked with other ideas. We're creating a framework in which everything fits together. We don't need to bring in outside influences or deus ex machina to literally the God in the machine to explain things which don't otherwise have an explanation within our system. So it's true that, I think atheists, they draw comfort from their beliefs in some of the same way as theologians do. I think, or religious people do. I love the idea that not perhaps within my lifetime, but certainly descendants of the tradition I'm in will finally come to a more or less complete explanation of the world we live in. And it'll be more wonderful than any of the explanations we've got yet. But it's not going to be an explanation derived from a book handed down by the prophets of the Middle East 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. That's the difference. It's my faith is in forward-looking discovery, not in basing our understanding on dogma received from the past.